Hi, thanks for joining me for this video tutorial on Azure Resource Hierarchy and how to manage them effectively. So in this video tutorial, first I would talk about Azure Resource Hierarchy, and then I will show you like how you can create different management groups and move resources to them. And I will also show you from policy and governance perspective how you can like assign policies or like provide access to someone at the management group level. So okay, first have a look at this diagram. So if you would see in this diagram, so suppose I have one subscription. So in any Azure account, the top level construct is something which is your subscription. So whatever resources you would deploy would be part of one or other subscription within your account, right? So subscription is nothing but kind of a billing boundary, right? All those resources that you would create within a subscription would be built together. So, like suppose you need to you have a requirement to spin up different virtual machines, Azure SQL, or any other services within your Azure account. So that is where the first thing you would see you have is active subscription. Then within that subscription, you need a resource group. So in case if you don't have a resource group, you would be required to create one. And once you have that resource group, within that resource group, you would spin up your different resources, right? So that's one thing. Now think from a different scenario. You have multiple subscriptions, right? You have your multiple subscriptions. You want to assign similar sort of policies and governance on those subscriptions. So that is where you would kind of think it would be better if you would have an upper scope above these subscriptions. So that is where this management group comes in handy, right? You can have a management group, you can move your subscription to that management group, and whatever policies, governance, or like RBAC access you would assign to this management group, the same would be replicated from top to down, right? The same would be inherited to your resource, your subscription, then resource group, right? Now, like how you would define what kind of management group requirement you have, that is something depend on your governance plan, right? That is something how you plan your cloud environment, how you want to manage it, right? So if you would let me show you this another diagram, right? So if you would see this diagram, within an organization you have your corporate IT, and within that corporate IT you have three different uh, groups, right? Production, development, and QA. And once you have these different groups, it could be any number, right? Any number of groups, right? And then based on that, you have within these groups, you have different teams who manage different things, right? So under that corporate group, you have different teams who has their different subscriptions, right? So whatever subscriptions where you need to put same set of policies, governance, or need to provide similar sort of access, so you can make all those subscriptions part of production. Similarly, whatever subscriptions which where you would deploy your non-prod resources, so all those you can move to like a development management group, and similarly for QA, right? But you need to keep one thing in mind, that is where like whatever policies, if there is something which is enterprise wide, that is something those policies you would put at the level of this top level management group. If there is something, some policy or compliances which needs to be applied on all the subscriptions which are part of production, that is something you would apply those policies here. Similarly for development and QA, right? At the same time, suppose here it's showing just one management group, corporate IT, right? There could be different locations, right? You could have different management groups, location-wise management groups, right? Similarly, you can have different management groups here, right? Here, and then you can have like under those management group, you can nest other management group, and within those you can move your subscriptions. So that's another thing. There is one more thing. Whenever you spin up any Azure account with that default Azure AD, there is a root management group is created, right? So that root management group is something which is that default management group. Any subscription that you would provision or add would be part of that default root management group, and that is from within that root management group you would deploy any, you would create any other management group, right? There is one more thing you need to keep in mind. Within this to have access to this or like assign user access to this root level management group, you need to be a part of that Azure global administrator assignment, right? You need to have that Azure AD global administrator assignment, right? And then you would be required to go to your directory properties, and from there you need to enable that user access management, because by default that is something is disabled, right? So let me jump into Azure portal. Okay, from this global search bar I can search for management groups. Okay, let me go to management group. Okay, so on this management group plate, we can add any other management group we want to add, right? So suppose I want to add suppose there is an organization abc.com, right? So I want to add a management group at that level, right? So here I can assign that name ABC, right? PC, save. Okay, let me refresh the page and let me add you one more management group. And this is suppose ABC. This is suppose ABC Mumbai. Okay, okay. And now suppose there is one more ABC Delhi. So this is suppose our planning is something to have in a management group at the from the perspective of different locations, right? So that is where we like suppose this is something high level planning, right? Where suppose we are having different subscriptions for people who are belonging to different locations, right? Suppose our production teams are sitting in Mumbai, development teams are sitting or non-pro teams are sitting and working from Delhi. So from that perspective, right? Okay. So while another management group is being created, so suppose you have this subscription. So whatever subscription, as I mentioned earlier, whatever subscriptions you would have, all those subscriptions would be part of your tenant root group, right? So suppose you want to move this subscription to any of the management group that you created, right? This management group can be nested as well. So suppose this ABC organization, I want to move this ABC Mumbai management group to the within this ABC organization. So what I need to do, I just need to click here, click on move, and from here I need to choose the scope. So I need to move it to another management group that is called ABC. Okay, so click on save. So it would move this ABC Delhi management group to uh, ABC organization, right? Right. Now, again, if I want to move this one as well, I can click here, click on move, or else what I can do, I just need to click here, click on detail, and from this ABC Mumbai management group plate, I can click on move, and from here I can select that. Okay. Now let me go back to management groups. Let me refresh it. Okay, okay. Let me return back to tenant root group. So again, now if you would see, I have my subscription, right? And I have my management group, right? And within this management group, I have two different management groups. So that is something you can see by clicking on it. You can see these are the two management group. And now think from the perspective of, okay, first let me move this management or this subscription to one of the management group. Okay, so suppose I want to make this subscription as part of Mumbai management group. So what I need to do, I just need to click these three dots, click on move, and from here I can select a scope, and that scope could be anything, any of the any level of those management groups. And here I just want to mention one more thing. This nesting is something you can do up to 6 level, right? However, keep in mind this 6 level is not something that I am talking from the point of your root level management group, tenant root management group, but here it's from the perspective of any other management group that you would create. Okay, so suppose I want to move this subscription, MyLab pay as you go to ABC Mumbai, right? Mumbai management group. So I just need to select it, click on save, and it would move it there. Okay, that's one thing. It might take a few seconds to a minute. Okay, let me refresh it. Okay, it's already moved there. So suppose if I want to put some policies which are organization wide, so those policies are something which would be okay, let me return back. So this is my organization, so there is some policies which I need to put organization wide, or I have some users who need to have access organization wide access, right? And these users which I am referring are part of that Azure Active Directory, right? So that's the directory from where I am taking, that identity and access management is being managed. Okay. So in order to do that, what I need to do, I need to click on this management group. Then in front of that management group, you would see this detail, right? You need to click on detail hyperlink that will bring me the another blade that's for ABC management group, and that is where if you would see, I can see I have access control option, and at the same time I have policies. So that is where I can assign anyone access, right? I can assign anyone access, anyone who is part of my Active Directory, right? I can assign them permissions here. For that, I just need to do add, and then from there, I need to click on add role assignment, and from there, I need to select role, assign access, select user, and then click on save. However, that's something I will discuss in one of the another video. Okay. Now, think from the perspective of policy. I need to assign some organization-wide policies. So that is something I would go to this policies blade, right? And from where I am at this policy and compliance blade, from where I can, if you would see, the scope is that management group I was within, right? So from here I can assign any policy for this ABC management group. Okay, let me go return back to management groups. Okay, so that something was company wide, right? Now think from the perspective of location wide. If I need to assign someone permission to all the subscriptions which are having resources being used by Mumbai location people, right? So at that time, if I need to assign somebody permission, I need to go to this ABC Mumbai blade, right? Detail, and now I can assign the permissions from here, like either IM access or the policies from here, right? At the same time, if I want to see cost analysis, I can go to this, use this cost analysis option, and can see the same from here. Okay. Now let me return back. Okay. Now look at the tenant root group. So this is something which would be your organization wide, or I would call it, that's not correct, organization wide. I would call it like directory wide, right? Even that organization by wording is correct, but the correct, I mean, it would be better if I would call it directory wide. If I want to put some global permissions, right, directory wide global permission, that is where I would be required to go tenant group, tenant root group level. And as you can see, as I was mentioning, you should be part of that global administrator assignment group, and then you need to enable that user access management. Only after then you would be able to manage tenant root group level permissions. So that is why if you would see, it's showing me I am not authorized to view that. So in order to like manage the user access or policies at tenant root group level, I would be required to go to Active Directory. So I am now on Active Directory Blade. So this vCloud class is my directory name. Okay, once I am there, I need to go to properties, right? And now I need to enable this user access management. This option is something which you would get only if you are logged in as a global administrator. No other user would see this option, right? You need to enable it. You need to click on save. This is something would take time, a few minutes, okay? But I believe now you get the crux of it, right? So if you want to like assign some sort of permissions at directory level, you need to click on this detail, and then you will go to that tenant root group blade. And in a similar way, we were doing the other management like here, right? For any other management group, we can like the only difference would be it would be root management group. We can assign anyone permission to directory wide permission here, or we can assign directory wide policies here. Or at the same time, if we want to see like whatever subscriptions are there, if we want to see a cumulative cost, right, that is something we can see from here. Okay, let me return back and see it again if it's something. Okay, it's something would take time, guys. Okay, it seems it's updated. Let me refresh and see if that's something working, so I can show you to that page I was supposed to show you for root management group. Okay, it seems it would take a few minutes to get it reflected everywhere. Okay, so let me pause this video and return back when everything is, I mean, that access populated. Okay, I think it's working now. Let me click on detail. Okay, so now as you can see, I can assign the tenant root group level permission. So that's something would be a directory level, right? On this page, I can, if I want, I can also add management group subscriptions, right? So that's another thing. If I want to see activity log at scale, right, at tenant group level, I can also see that, right? So this is all I wanted to show you. Here we discussed about Azure Resource Hierarchy. So that is where we talked about like subscriptions, right? So let me show that to you as well in quick fashion. So here you would have your subscription. Then within that subscription, you would be required to create your resource group. Okay, and once you have your resource group created, then you can like whenever you are creating any resource, that is something you would put under those resource groups. Okay, okay, so this is also taking time. So I think this was the I mean the objective of this video tutorial was to show you how you can create a management group and move different subscriptions to those different management groups. And then if you want to assign like access permissions or policies, how you can do that. So I showed you from where you can make those changes. Okay, so that's pretty much all for this session. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.